Thank you for watching RooTV.
Welcome back to RooTV for the final episode of the school year. I'm Grace Kurtz.
And I'm Marissa Leggio. The UM system decided to remove diversity and inclusion statements from job postings. Stay tuned to see why this change is upsetting to some in the UMKC community.
3 students, originally from St. Louis, brought their passions to impact the community, founding the Kansas City Service Club. The founders, Larry Smith, Caitlin Gindren, and Adriana Spangler, remarked, "It's a great way to get involved in the community, especially if you are not familiar with what the KC area has to offer." The club's monthly volunteer opportunities help students form lasting local connections. This year, they did events such as making birthday cards for the Confetti Foundation and sorting donations with Feed Northland Kids. They're already planning events for next year, including a park cleanup at Brush Creek. KC Service Club held their last meeting on May 1st, but search them on Roo Groups and keep a lookout for the informational meeting they plan to hold in the fall.
Some Kansas City businesses are sharing their disappointment related to the lack of customers during the NFL draft. The NFL draft reported that 312,000 fans attended the draft in Kansas City between Thursday and Saturday. But while the draft was experiencing long lines and excitement, some Kansas City businesses say their shops were empty. Mildred's, which is a fan-favorite coffee shop among Kansas City natives, stated, "We're all pretty bummed about the lackluster results of this event." Through the disappointment and frustration, many small businesses who struggled during the NFL draft vocalized the importance of supporting one another.
UMKC Concrete Canoe Club earned first place at their regional competition in Manhattan, Kansas, attaining a 2-year winning streak. Universities in and around Missouri competed in presentations, races, final products, and technical reports, with only one team moving on to nationals. Beyond the overall victory, UMKC ranked highly in each individual category, winning first place in racing, second place in presentation and technical report, and third place in the final product. Concrete Canoe's president, Nathan Unruh, elaborated on their progress as a group, saying, "Last year was figuring out what we could do with what we had, and this year was a refinement of that." The group intends to continue to evolve the craft of concrete mixing and canoe creation. Join them on Roo Groups to take part in improvements and excitement.
Now let's throw it over to Jackson Ogden for some sports.
Welcome back into the den. I am Jackson Ogden, and for the second straight year, I am here to break down the Chiefs draft class. Now, if you watched last year's episode, you know that I adored that class. I loved the McDuffie and Karlaftis picks. I loved the whole entire draft class, and boy, did that draft class turn out and help us win a Super Bowl. So I'm here to break down the 2023 NFL draft class they had. I'm not as high on this one, but it's still, in my opinion, a decent class. We start off with the hometown kid in the first round. Felix Anaduke-Uzama out of K-State. He went to Lee Summit High School. He's a pass rusher. The Chiefs needed a pass rusher with Frank Clark being cut. They couldn't afford him anymore, so you get a younger guy. I actually like this type of play style. Uzama brings more than a Frank Clark. It's more bendy, gets around the outside. It's not as much bull rush as much as it is relying on pure athleticism, so I do like that pick. I think he's an immediate impact player. Speaking of immediate impact players, we go to the second round where the Chiefs traded up for wide receiver Rashee Rice. Man, he's going to get immediate reps. I don't envision him having the Sky Moore troubles last year, getting stuck, behind other guys. I think Rice fits into this offense immediately. Mahomes has raved about him. I think it's a great fit to the offense to complement Kadarius Toney and the rest of those guys. Possibly my favorite pick in the third round, we have Wayna Morris out of Oklahoma, a right tackle. He was a 5-star recruit coming out of college, went to Tennessee, ended up transferring during the COVID year to Oklahoma. Just raw skill set. And look, the Chiefs, honestly, signed Jawan Taylor. He's going to be the left tackle. You've got Joe Tooney. He's going to be the left guard. Creed Humphrey's obviously the center. And then Trey Smith's right guard. But there was a massive hole at right tackle, and now there will be a competition for that between guys like Lucas Nyang and, of course, now Wayna Morris, who comes in and provides depth that Kansas City needed. And the last pick I'll talk about today that the Chiefs made, because, you know, you get to the later rounds, and while there might be some hidden gems in there, there's only so much I know about these guys. Chamari Connor, a cornerback out of Virginia Tech. Look, as much as the Chiefs, you know, defense came up big at times last year, they definitely could use more secondary help. Trent McDuffie looks like a solidified #1 corner, but you're going to need more people alongside him. And of course, Jalen Watson, Joshua Williams. It's an extremely young secondary, and I'm very happy that they were able to add to that, get more depth in there, because you can never have too many good corners on your team. And Brett Veach has a great history of drafting secondary players. If I had to give this draft a grade immediately off the top of my head, I'm feeling a B+. I thought it was a solid draft. It hit some needs. There was no wow pick. I don't think they got any like crazy steals like they have in the past few years. Could be wrong. It wouldn't be the first time, as you guys know. But yeah, I feel it a B+. It was solid. It addressed team needs. Nothing crazy, but it should be enough to help Kansas City repeat as Super Bowl champions. Enjoy your guys' summer. Don't watch the Royals too much, because it will probably give you headaches. And as always, Roo up.
Welcome back to Lifestyle and Culture. I'm your host, Joshua Cunningham, and today I'm back with another album review for the last RooTV of the year, and we're going to do Jack Harlow's album, Jackman. Now, for me, this was a great album, especially for 2023. I haven't listened to too many 2023 albums, but this one was amazing, especially because I've only really listened to Jack Harlow since like 2020 when that album had come out, so I've only heard 3 albums, and the first 2 I heard were a little more disappointing compared to this album. I really like this album, one, because he just talked about serious topics that are happening now in days. I mean, I feel like a lot of music doesn't really talk about things that are actually happening in the world or society. It was giving me similar vibes to Kendrick's album. Nowhere close to as good as Kendrick's album, so don't think I'm about to compare Jack Harlow to Kendrick Lamar in rapping. That's not what I'm doing. I just think that Kendrick Lamar also talked about how the world is doing right now, and Jack Harlow did a little bit of that in this album. I like the length of it. It was only like 25 minutes, so you could get through it fast in 10 songs. And out of the 10 songs, my favorite 3 were Gang, 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 Blame on Me, and Questions. My favorite one out of the 3 was Blame on Me, because it just talked about a family and the youngest son, from the side of the youngest son, the oldest son, and the dad. And I could just relate to a little bit of that. Although I have a younger sister and an older sister, I could still relate to the music, and it was just really good for me to listen to. So on the first listen, because I was just not expecting it, I had given it a 9. Since then, it's definitely went down a little bit. I mean, it's one of those albums, like, because you're so surprised about what's happening, it's just going to be really fire. It's like a movie that has, like, a plot twist. Once you see it, it's always not going to be as good as the first time you see it, because you already know the plot twist. So for this album, it's kind of the same thing. It was a 9 on the first listen. It's kind of gone down probably to like a 8.5, but it was amazing. And for me, so far, it's in contention for one of the best albums of 2023. Obviously, I've really only listened to 2, so don't, give me too much credit on that. But Daniel Caesar and Jack Harlow both had amazing albums, so I would definitely say this should be in at least the conversation for Best Album of 2023 so far. That's all the time I have for today. Thank you for listening to me this whole year, and please come back next year and listen to me talk even more. And if you want to hear my music opinions over the summer, follow me on Instagram at Mr.Cunning123.
Welcome back to RooTV. My name is Afnan Hussain. As we approach the end of the semester, the headache that is finals week can be alleviated with a light-hearted read like Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Henry strays away from her traditional trope setting by writing about a fast-moving city girl who is forced to slow down in a small town in North Carolina. Nora has been left by multiple past boyfriends for wholesome countrywomen. She's the protagonist in this book, career-driven, ambitious, and particular. When her sister forces a getaway to the country, Nora is reluctant. There, she meets none other than Charlie, her arch-nemesis editor from back in the city. There are many shades to Charlie, small-town boy who seeks a better life in the big city, forced to return as a sharp-edged man trying to fit back into his childhood home, a place he never belonged to begin with. The enemies to lovers trope is the main perception here, but the relationship building between the two sisters was a bonus, repetitive theme throughout the entirety of the novel.
This is my favorite summer read for multiple reasons. Henry's description of summer plot lines, intensive, passionate dialogue, and endings that make you go, "Aww," are just a few of them. Now it's time for an excerpt. Until you got here, he rasps, all this place had ever been was a reminder of the ways I was a disappointment. And now you're here, and I don't know, I feel like I'm okay. If you're the wrong kind of woman, then I'm the wrong kind of man. If you like this book review, check out my Instagram at @AFHussain_ for more. Thanks for listening and have a great summer.
Hi everyone, it's Katya.
And it's Angel, and we're seniors graduating from the School of Humanities and Social Sciences.
And today we're going to be talking about our favorite memories at UMKC. To start off, I really enjoyed playing weekly volleyball with Volleyball Unites the World. We would just play with people from any and every kind of background, and it was super fun, and I got to meet some of my best friends at UMKC there.
And my favorite memory was I got to interview firefighters in the class Art of the Interview with Krasky, and I'm so thankful that I have the opportunity to be able to interview people who are inspiring individuals every single day. I'm excited for what the future holds for us, and I'm going to be sad whenever we leave UMKC. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye!
Hey everyone, my name is Rex. I'm the executive producer of RooTV, and this is Jonah, who's been helping us out a lot at RooTV, and we're going to share some of our favorite memories at UMKC over the years.
Yeah, so I wasn't on campus a whole lot, but I think my favorite memory was just making the friends that I've made here at UMKC, especially just these guys and gals and on RooTV, and yeah, just had a lot of fun with good professors.
I have a couple favorite memories. One of them being I got to be on the broadcasting end of interviewing Pete Buttigieg whenever he visited campus. More recently, I got to meet or be in the vicinity of Mike Tyson whenever we were at the 420 Festival. But I think my favorite memories were formed just coming here every Monday and getting to work with all the people that are here. So I'm going to miss that greatly, and thank you all for the time that you gave me.
Yeah, as I say in Canada, peace out.
And cut. And cut.
The University of Missouri's system removed diversity, equity, and inclusion statements from their hiring process. However, UMKC's Statement of Values mentions all three. The removal of DEI statements coincides with the amendment introduced by Republican lawmakers earlier this March that would prevent public universities from asking questions about diversity in their hiring process. Dr. John Barton said he remembers the university's statements when he was hired on campus in 2005. He discusses diversity, discrimination, and race regularly in his African American literature course. Dr. Barton stated, "It's possible, of course, to have a discrimination-free environment without university-sanctioned DEI statements, but it's much more probable when those statements are actually in place." Diversity, equity, and inclusion are all key values of UMKC's Statement of Values, but the UM system decision to scale back on diversity in their hiring process has some UMKC students concerned about how it may impact their campus.
Thank you for wrapping up the semester with RooTV. Be sure to hop on the subscribe button and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at RooNewsUMKC. Have a great summer.